Hey guys, this post is for the guy who's going through the divorce recovery, making it through the other end of the tunnel. Maybe there's still rough patches with an ex, with a co-parent. Or it's for the women in your life that maybe see this and say, hey, you need to listen to this. The mom, the friend, the sister, the daughter. Uh, yeah. So what I want to talk about today is not taking the bait. What does not taking the bait mean? Not taking the bait means no matter if there's something positive or there's something negative, uh, you get some thanks, appreciation, or you get some criticism, some zingers. No matter what, don't take the bait. Now, I want to specify or have a disclaimer that this is not for what I would call your category one or your category five divorce. So, category one, I think we've heard of this kind of thing. I haven't seen it in my life, but the one where, and I'll say more about this in another post. The idea that this is, we're friends, we're consciously uncoupled, we're at each other's weddings. Matter of fact, the guy may be the best man of your of your of your partner's future husband. Who knows? That kind of thing. And then category five, that's full on Jerry Springer. And for people that don't remember the Jerry Springer show, it's just fighting. It's fighting. It's calling child protective services. It's actively assassinating your partner's character to anyone who will listen. And even in front of your kids, disparaging them, finding evidence of how horrible they are. Kind of the worst, right? And staying in that mindset. That's your category five, and even worse than that. But I'm talking about those middle parts, the category 2, 3, 4. And I've had clients, I'm a therapist, coach, and putting out some content about divorce recovery. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen on both sides, and I think it's important to realize that it's both sides. So it's perhaps easier to say that when you have an ex-partner, a co-parent disparaging you, actively finding something where they think the worst of you, or assuming that when you said something, it was some, uh, zinger, or you have an ulterior motive, or you're trying to get somewhere. And I'm not doubting that there's some guys that should be suspected of such things. The guys that were abandoned, the guys that were had some major psychological issue that needed to get dealt with, alcohol, other kinds of things, sociopathic behavior, perhaps, all those kinds of things. Sure, not to be trusted, understood, and women have a right, and they should band together in tribes and on their own be very suspicious of that. But for the rest of the guys, right, whenever you get something that's a zinger, sometimes the response is no response. You have to just simply maintain, let it go, and understand that no matter what, it doesn't even really matter. I think for these category 2, 3s, and 4s, especially until some time has passed, and maybe not even then, that it doesn't matter if you left, she left, it was acrimonious, sort of okay divorce. Again, if it's not category 1 and you're consciously uncoupled and all that, it's not like you should expect anything other than transactional behavior. So you get slammed for something, right? Okay, then the response sometimes is no response. Or you get thanked for something. You get a heart. You get a thumbs up, 10 thumbs up emojis or something. Or, oh, this is so great. I appreciate this. Realize it's transactional. Don't get inflated. What I mean by inflated, take it as if this means something. Because in a lot of cases it doesn't. It's just in that moment. It's just a transaction. And sure, you want to have less tension than more, especially since your goal is really about the co-parenting. It's about, seeing your child. And I know some of you guys don't have the legal situation where you may have joint legal and physical custody, or 50-50 custody, joint, a fair amount of time and legal structures in place. You may not have that. So you always want to get it back to keeping it neutral, giving the information neutrally. When you get something that's positive, Oh, sure, it's nice because maybe that means for a little while things will go a little bit better or less strife, but realize it's a transaction. That's what it is. And also realize on the negative side that that's a transaction too. Yeah, if your ex harbors all these, ill thoughts about you, and every time, she sees you, it's stabbing eyes, it's like you can't do anything about that. And think of your partner in this way as the gatekeeper to the castle. Your job is to get into the castle and be with your prince, your princess, or both. They're a gatekeeper. You don't need to inflame. You need to be neutral. You have a right to be in the castle. Again, legally, I know some guys have a little more of a challenge with this, but you just want to get in. So you don't take the bait. You don't take the bait when you're thanked, when you're appreciated so much in a text or email or in a moment. Thank you for doing this. Great, that's nice, thanks. You let it wash over you. And the same thing happens when it's negative. You let it wash over you. 90% of the times, it's no response when it's that negative. Your job is, again, to be a co-parent, to not inflame. So sometimes you just have to let it go. Don't take the bait.